Hey guys, what is up? It is Nico'sMovingCastle here at you guys with another video. Um, so I have been realizing that I haven't been getting a lot of new subscribers or views lately. So I wanted to try and switch it up and see if I can fix that. So I looked through my analytics and I realized that the 3 tutorials I made on my manga making process did very well. So I wanted to try and do some more tutorials to try and up the views a little bit. So, this video is going to be kind of a little bit of a precursor to my other tutorials on how to actually like draw. But this one is going to be basically about how to start drawing for a cheap price, because there's a lot of expensive, art products out there that really won't do you much good unless you know the basics. So the price that I'm going to say is, this is all going to cost is $25, but it really won't take you $25 because you probably have almost all these things around your house. So the first thing that you want to get are pencils. Now I'm just going to be using some Bic mechanical pencils. I like mechanical pencils for manga just because it gives you more accurate lines, so it's easier to ink. So these will cost you about $3 to get a pack. And in a pack you probably get like 10, 15. So that's a good deal. So then after that you probably want some pens. So I'm using Pilot rolling ball pen, Precise V5. These work really, V5 and V7. So these come in like packs of 3. They work really well. I used these for a long time before I started using microns. I still like these a lot. I think the actual look of them is a little bit different now because these are from like 2014, if I believe. So 2013 even maybe. So yeah, these are a little bit old. Then just a Sharpie. You can get that anywhere. And then colored pencils. Now, I looked up online what the price is. So for like a 50 pack of Crayola colored pencils, it's $7. So that's really good. For a 24 pack like this, I'm sure it's like probably 3 or 2. I'm gonna be using a 24 pack. So basically, like I would suggest going with Crayola for a cheap colored pencil, just because there's a really good color selection and there's a lot of them and they're dirt cheap. They're dirt cheap. So yeah. Basically, I'm going to do all this in time lapse and do voiceover now that I've gotten that done with. And also, you may say that's only add up. I think I said the color pencils are only $7, but that only adds up to $20. The extra $5 is for a sketchbook if you want to use a sketchbook. This is just on a piece of printer paper, but just to show that you can, do good with simple stuff. But I would suggest getting a sketchbook and getting a halfway decent one. That's why I said $5. I'm sure you could get one for like $1 somewhere, but I would suggest getting a nice one just because better paper is easier to use color pencils with. So I'll see you guys in a couple seconds. Alright guys, so the first thing I noticed when inking this is that going from like microns and G pens was kind of a struggle to use these, but it wasn't like for a bad reason. It was because these pens, I forgot how well they flow. They flow so well. It was like I'm used to like having a little bit of resistance, but these flowed so nicely on the paper. It was kind of like not like my hand wasn't used to how easy the pen moved across the paper. Also, the paper didn't really warp and shred as much as I expected it to with the Sharpie, as you'll see later on. It actually, the printer paper handled it really well. It did buckle a little bit, but it was already kind of buckling because it was a small piece of paper. But other than that, like it held up to the erasing. It held up to, I even sandpapered one part that I wanted to re-ink. And it held up to that. It looked a little funny in person, but on camera it looks fine. But yeah, those things turned out really well. Later on, I put the white onto the Sharpie to add like a lighting effect, and that even turned out well, so that's good. as you can see, the the pens get really precise. I didn't have trouble getting like thin lines out of them at all. What I did have trouble with though is sometimes if you leave the pen down for too long, it'll start to like bleed a little bit in circles. So as I moved into coloring the skin, the warm colors worked really well. Like the browns and the tans and the yellows, those blended very well. I've noticed that doing some other illustrations with Crayolas before, but the warm colors worked amazing. The lighter colors like gray and stuff, not as much. I think it's because there's less color variety, so I didn't have as much to like layer on top of each other, so that might be a thing. Because as I said, I only was using a 24 pack, and also the 24 pack for some reason, I think it might have just been mine. I don't know. It didn't come with a purple, like not even like a dark purple. I had to make my own. So that was kind of rough because yeah, so my mic just cut off. But basically that's kind of what I was getting at is the color selection that I was using wasn't very good. I think if I had a better color selection, this picture would have turned out a lot better. Um, One thing that I noticed trying to blend these because I didn't have any colors is your paper is going to make or break you. Working on this printer paper was rough because when you color with colored pencil, that kind of weight of the paper shows until you've pushed it down all the way. And on printer paper, it's really easy for it to be pushed down. It was getting pushed down after like 2 or 3 light layers of colored pencil. So it was really hard to move around the color after that and add in layers and shading. Um, so that was probably the thing that I struggled with the most. So yeah, paper is probably going to be the one thing that you want to invest in. Invest in a good sketchbook. Um, so yeah. Um, Basically, I just wanted to say that I was able to produce this piece. That yeah, I don't think it's up to my best standards. I think my line art was a little rushed, but I think my coloring turned out pretty nice, considering what I was using. So that just goes to show that you don't really need super nice supplies to make a nice finished product because it's in the end it's not what you're using. It's your own skill, not you know the quality of the product because I still have days where I'll draw something and I won't even bother using my nice supplies on it because I realize, this isn't, using these nice supplies isn't going to make this look better. So I just wanted to show that. And I will be back at you guys next week with a new tutorial.